campaigned. I mean, there's never been a person in political history that's campaigned as hard as my father has, and frankly, as hard as our family did. And, you know, when you saw Biden, I was talking about, obviously, you know, Biden not leaving his basement in Wilmington, Delaware right there, but, you know, you see these farmers. I go all over the country. You'd be with coal miners, you'd be with farmers, you'd be with, you know, first responders, you know, cops, just great Americans.
To any cell phone, even if they're
Hi, I'm Jane King, and thank you for watching. This show is all about public, private, and blockchain companies. We bring you the innovators behind the companies making the headlines in that space. Some are sponsored, some are invited, all are curated and focused on telling you, the viewers, their story. Here we go. Welcome back, and we are pleased to have Ben Kaplan back with us. Ben with Ehave. So let's get right to it. March 23rd, you made news with an agreement with Silo Wellness. So Ben, expand on this psilocybin study. Where do you stand in the launch of that study?
Hey, good morning, Jane. Good to see you again. Well, the Silo Wellness is an interesting partnership. The company just went public 6 weeks ago on the Toronto Exchange, and the partnership that we formed will be taking place in Jamaica for a study on psilocybin sometime during the summer. We're going to be looking at using the EEG technology from our partner Great Scientific to evaluate the brainwaves on 35 patients that will be taking psilocybin on a 7-day journey through the jungles of Jamaica. Hopefully, we'll be able to take that data after it's analyzed and publish it on clinical.gov.
Okay, and then there's also a Ketidash. So people are excited about getting an update on that. Where are you with the home ketamine treatment?
You know, I'm really excited about Ketidash. It's coming together a little slower than I expected, but now it seems like it's picking up pace. We've isolated that we're going to launch it here in Miami-Dade County. We found a partner, ketamine clinic, to help us launch it. It looks like we'll end up putting it through a van, a Sprinter, that will make the home delivery of the ketamine. The website and application should launch towards the end of Q2, beginning of Q3. And we just hired a legal team to finalize all the contracts and agreements that we'll need to work with inside the parameters of a Schedule III drug. And we're getting a good reception from ketamine clinics in Texas, Oregon, Arizona, Maryland, New York, all looking at this opportunity to offer concierge service for ketamine treatment.
Okay, and then let's also introduce Dr. Jeffrey Camlett, who is a medical advisor for Ehave, an acting chief medical director for TriStar Wellness in Miami as well. So now that you're the medical advisor for Ehave, will Ehave be involved in ibogaine research in the near future? First, could you explain what that is, and then tell me about the plans?
Well, thank you, Jane. Thank you for having me. I have a very varied background in medicine, everything from emergency medicine to forensics, and I've been involved in psychedelic research for over 30 years. Back as early as 1997, I was the first physician, along with a PhD from the University of Miami, to give Ibogaine to opiate-addicted patients and other drug addicts in the island of St. Kitts in a clinical study to prove efficacy. And the results were just absolutely remarkable. Ibogaine is the cure for opiate dependence, and we're facing a universal pandemic of opiate dependence and deaths. That's aside from Ibogaine's ability to cure other addictions, i.e. alcoholism and things of that nature. And I'm very excited to join Ehave to get some, possible clinical trials going in Ibogaine, and also looking at soon doing a clinical trial, possibly with Ehave and Stanford University, on Navy SEALs who suffer from PTSD, doing functional MRIs, pre and post Ibogaine treatments, so we can get some clinical proof of what we already know, that this drug truly works and is nothing short of a miracle cure for difficult diseases.
Wow, that'll be really interesting to see the results of that, because I know those are some of the biggest problems we face as a society right now.
I think Ibogaine, if you let me interject, I think Ibogaine is the most interesting psychedelic when it comes to actually curing disease. It's also the most difficult to work with because of some side effects of the drug, yet it can be done safely. And I'm known as the world safety expert on Ibogaine administration. I've done over 1,900 treatments in 27 years without an adverse event. So this can be done properly. And I'm really excited in the future of Ehave that Ibogaine research will be part of Ehave's future in the near future.
Okay. Ben, let's also talk about the dashboard live. Do you anticipate launching that soon?
Yes, we're working through the beta right now. We'll be hopefully in the next few weeks posting it on our website with instructional videos. I believe we just posted one on our YouTube channel that can show the in and outs of the workings of the dashboard. We've just downloaded almost 310,000 cases of ketamine research, and the system we'll probably end up using in our clinical trials with Silo Wellness and with the ketamine trial that we're going to start with in the next 60 days here in Miami.
Now, Dr. Kamlet, you announced a ketamine clinical trial as well. So you have some interesting findings from Brain Scientific that you can use to map the brain and gather data. Can you explain a little bit more about that study and the technology behind it?
So this is super exciting to me. As a medical director of TriStar, I have a copyrighted protocol where we use intravenous ketamine to cure refractory depression, PTSD, anxiety, and we saw some remarkable other results. An 80% reduction in alcohol usage after a single treatment. After a series of 6 to 8 treatments, patients who did not intend to quit smoking stopped smoking. So it was very exciting when Ehave came to us asking to do a clinical study using their brain mapping technology. So again, we can get some real objective data to prove what I've already seen. It's nothing, but the results I have seen objectively as a physician are nothing but just incredible. The patients are like, wow, that was amazing. I feel so much better. Very quickly, within less than a month period of time, we see severe depression scores, very high depression scores on standard psychiatric questionnaires going from high numbers to 0. And yet I can tell this to people and they're not going to believe it. And with some of the platforms that Ehave has in this new brain mapping technology, we hope to get some real objective data that will become publishable so that ketamine may become the standard of care. I see it as a cure for depression, not a treatment of depression, and that's a remarkable breakthrough in science and medicine.
Yeah, wow, fascinating. So, and Ben, there was announced on February 26th an acquisition of Health Mode. So this was MindMed and Health Mode. Do you welcome the competition? I mean, do you think this helps you, maybe validates the things that you're doing?
That's a great question, Jane. MindMed is one of the leaders in the psychedelic development of pharmaceutical drugs, and they see what we saw many years ago, which is the digital therapeutic side of it, the data collection, the opportunity to use AI. And so with MindMed paying so much money for the opportunity that they purchased, we feel that it puts us on the front burner for other companies to look at us and our technology offerings, because the data is really the goal of the future. And this opportunity in psychedelic mental health is just in the first inning. And so with them making that acquisition, it really excites me and my team to keep moving forward with this data collection technology and hopefully being able to apply it in 2021 into real life.
This is really exciting that we're going to be able to integrate, modern technology, video conferencing, electronic health records, along with something which is very difficult to track, and that's the effects of psychedelic drugs and the effects on treatments that you can't see the benefits by doing a blood test. We have to have some real data here to prove that this is causing neuroplasticity in the brain. So I'm really excited to join Ehave in doing this, and excited about the prospects of possibly working with groups like MindMed. Any group that is doing scientifically, ethically based treatments that will benefit, mankind is just super exciting for someone like myself who's been working with these medicines for some 30 years.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward to updates on it and seeing how they progress. So thank you so much, Dr. Kamlet, and also Ben Kaplan, for joining us, and I look forward to an update in a few months or so.
Thank you, Jane, again for your time this morning.
Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. SoMee is a social media site that pays creators for their content. So with me is the an influencer, the head of influencer partnerships, Brad Frank, and then also Ashwin Soma, who is a operations manager at CardStarter. So let's start with you, Ashwin. Just explain what CardStarter is and how it fits into the whole SoMee business model.
Absolutely. So CardStarter is essentially the first decentralized launchpad for Cardano. And that's kind of a mouthful, but really what it does is it helps projects that are up and coming, especially when it comes to blockchain technology, and it makes sure that it can get them a good community to bootstrap their project as it's starting out. It makes sure that it can get the appropriate raise and the funds that it needs and the connections that it needs in the space to succeed. Now, what's great about SoMee, to segue into them, is they already have a lot of this done. The benefit there is we're just really helping them kind of perfect and tweak a little bit of their model to make sure that they have the best foot forward, but they already have a wonderful project. So I'd let Brad take it away.
Okay, so let's talk to Brad. So tell me a little bit about where SoMee is. I've talked to some of the influencers on there in the past. How does that stand, and what are you doing to try to kind of build those influencer partnerships and help them grow?
Sure. Thank you, Jane. Well, as you know, SoMee, we're at the culmination of approximately 8 years of development, with the last 2 in beta, which has been extremely successful. In terms of onboarding influencers, this process has really required us to help influencers unlearn what they know about social media to a degree. As you know, the model is social media redefined, privatization, monetization of your content, things of that nature. And, the challenge is always articulating to a influencer culture that has kind of been bred and born on the point, click, pay for click environment. And this is much more. I mean, by this platform combining elements of mainstream social media and blockchain, we've actually evolved into a whole lot more than we had anticipated. And not only, are we selling this to the influencer as a game-changing platform that supports social media activity and content, but also looking at it as an ecosystem. Mm-hmm. And one of the driving forces is that, as we had talked about earlier, Jane, there's definitely a new normal now. And for those people that consider themselves influencers, whether they're a micro influencer, a major macro influencer, so on and so forth, with, millions or tens of millions of followers, they always have to be ahead of the curve because that's, how they make their money. Being able to find new ways and innovative ways to monetize their brand. Well, we found that we've been picking up a great deal of our trajectory is really, really in a good place right now. And we've been, the responses to SoMee have been extremely positive. From my perspective, the challenge and what myself and Kelly Planzo are tasked with is really educating the influencer and really kind of unveiling to them a platform that produces multiple streams of revenue and monetization for them.
Very interesting. So Ashwin, talk a little bit about the IDO process. First of all, what is IDO and what is the process that SoMee is going through with you, right?
Absolutely. So, people all know what an IPO is, I'd like to think. And then in 2017, we have ICOs, and it's essentially an initial decentralized exchange offering. So as we evolve, we realize that it's not just the big boys and girls in Wall Street that, get to invest in these projects as they're exciting. We want it to be as decentralized as possible, meaning everyone, retail investors, folks at home on their smartphones, they should be able to invest in exciting projects such as, for example, SoMee, a social media platform that rewards influencers and rewards users and make sure that that advertising revenue actually goes to the user and the influencer as opposed to the company itself. I mean, projects like that make a lot of sense. And why should that not be something that everyone has the ability to invest in? So that's essentially what an IDO is. It's ensuring that folks that are interested in such projects can actually invest early on. Obviously, the biggest thing for us is we make sure that we are completely 100% compliant with SEC regulation to make sure that all the folks that are involved are doing so in a manner that's know your customer, or KYC, and that they're all upfront, and that everything is by the book, which kind of can create some red tape, but we're more than happy to do that because that's really what we believe in. And it makes sure that everyone can participate in exciting projects like SoMee in a safe, but also an equitable manner. So it's not just folks that have connections, but rather anyone in the space that can pick up a smartphone. Yeah. And that's what we, aim to do.
And Brad, I mean, that's a key part of SoMee and even blockchain in general is allowing people to participate more in the financial system than what we have seen in the past. So is that SoMee's long-term vision? I mean, I know it is, but can you go into a little more detail about that?
Sure. One of the things that, and again, partnerships with companies such as Ashwin's are vital in moving us to the next level, to be able to truly be a global force in the grand scheme of things. And also, quite frankly, it provides us with an opportunity for lessons learned. When you think about other social media platforms that first started off, they didn't have the benefit of having done it before, so, you had terms like viral that were coined at that point in time. Most people had never heard viral before. They didn't know what that meant, aside from, the symptoms of a cough and a cold or what have you. So, moving forward, going back to your question, one of the things that personally I really, really love about the platform is that because of the way that this platform has been constructed by Christopher, it almost creates an economy and a kind of a culture that really frowns on and penalizes actually bad behavior. It's to everybody's interest to display good behavior on this platform. And then another thing, when you look at influencer participation, this platform allows the influencer to give back. So, now you have a situation where the casual user, Brad Q Public is using this platform, and they like content, they follow content, from some of their internet influencers. They have the opportunity to monetize that interaction, as well as the influencer making money on that interaction. So when the influencer starts looking at the metrics that are, based upon the way this platform is structured, they have the opportunity to make a heck of a lot more money than they currently are with some of the old systems that are, pay-per-click and things of that nature, where there's kind of a virtual ceiling as to what they can earn.
Thank you so much. It's great to get an update from SoMee and see things progressing well. So thank you, Ashwin, and also Brad, for joining us.
Thank you,
for having
James.
us.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Paypolitan is an all-in-one payment solution. And with me is the CEO, Nils Sarant Ortiz, to talk a little bit more about some of the updates. So, Nils, I was excited to see that you have an app now. So that's a major milestone, right? Tell me about the app.
Exactly. Hi, Jane. Thank you for having me again. The app was just launched a few days ago, and that's, for me as an entrepreneur, a major achievement after a journey that began 3 years ago in 2018. So finally, we have a product. The product we have been working on all those years, and now it's real. It was released in Google Play last week, and this week before yesterday on Apple App Store as well. And we have, I'm very proud of that. We have a very, very positive feedback from users. We have on Google Play rating on 4.9 out of 5. So it's a 5 stars rating. So that's very good. I'm very happy to read that.
Yeah. Is it available globally or just in certain countries at this point?
It is available globally.
Okay, great. So also, we talked a little bit last time about staking and the concept of staking with cryptocurrencies. Can you kind of reiterate a little bit about that and how Paypolitan allows staking?
Sure. Staking is providing liquidity by locking up a coin for a certain period. So in our case, our token is called EPAN. So you can stake, for instance, our EPAN token. That means you're going to lock it for a period of time X. So we have two models. We have either 6 months, that is a fixed duration with a annual interest rate of 16.8%, or the users themselves set up the period, let's say 1 month and 3 days. Of course, then the interest rate per annum is a bit lower, or the interest rate you will make at the end of staking. But staking is, let's say it's a kind of peer-to-peer landing.
Mm-hmm. Did you say 60%?
16.8%.
Which is still incredible. 16%.
I mean, I don't know what about the US, but right now Europe, if you have savings in your bank account, you even have a negative interest rate. So they grab 0.5, 0.75% of what you have already in your bank account.
Wow. I don't think it's negative here, but I think it is less than 1%. So yes, it's just kind of a holding tank for money. It's not really anything to let grow. So how much is staked so far with EPAM?
Guess what? I looked at the numbers today and I didn't believe it. There is already over 1 million staked.
Wow. Okay. So great. And then also, I mean, which coins can be staked and how does somebody even start that process?
Well, for the time being, the direct staking, it's with our own token, the EPAN token. So you download the app, you register, that is done in 2 minutes. And then you connect your existing wallets. And if you have EPAN, you have then the button stake EPAN. Then you have the possibility of setting your own duration or taking the ready-made staking. And that's it. So it's basically locked where it is. You don't have to send it to a specific wallet. It stays where it is. And simply there's a smart contract running then on that token for the duration of the staking.
Okay.
And the staking is calculated with a compound rate. So compound is, let's say, a bit the market leader of staking. And they have a rate that is recalculated frequently. And we simply connect it to the compound rate in order to update or also to correct the staking rate.
Okay. So you have an app now, major milestone. What is next for Paypolitan?
So what is next? We're working on exchange listings. So we listed on Bitforex in March this year, and we have a tier 1 coming up. We try to list our coin on Kraken, which is a very huge listing. And I think also the crypto exchanges are getting to a different level right now. We saw those days the IPO of Coinbase on NASDAQ, which was a major milestone for the crypto and DeFi community. And I think that's a good step in the right direction. And I hope that others will follow and also list their companies on NASDAQ.
Yeah, no, I think Coinbase was kind of when we look back on this, one of those events that legitimize the industry. And speaking of that, we saw Bitcoin run up in anticipation of the Coinbase IPO, and then it kind of collapsed, and now it's like in between. And what's your take on the current state of the crypto market right now?
Well, there have been, like always, have been some corrections and also some setbacks. But we also saw Ether reaching its all-time high last week, $2,640 on Thursday, right? That was amazing. I mean, who had thought that? I remember beginning of last year, Ether I bought for $95. So that's a huge jump. And by the way, our token EPAN also reached its all-time high of $1.08 2 weeks ago. So even so, we are a smaller player. We are very happy and very proud that also the community investors are discovering our token EPAN and more people investing. So I think that's the second achievement after the app launch.
Now, do you think that crypto has seen its highs for the year, or do you think there'll be more upside later on?
I think as long as the pandemic is still ongoing, people will continue to invest into alternative investments. And so more or less you make money with traditional means of investment, let's say savings. We just discussed it before. How can you still make money with your saving accounts? Mission impossible. So all those people, especially younger generations, they will directly go into DeFi. I mean, that is unparalleled, and you have there's a risk, obviously. It's not like having your savings in the bank that might still be there tomorrow. But even said that, that is not true anymore. We saw Greensill and billions simply vanished in the nature. But I think on the long run, the DeFi and crypto market for this year at least, as long as the pandemic is still on, and the traditional finance industry is not coming up with a real alternative that is attractive to daily users, then DeFi is the alternative. Yeah. I don't see any other option for that.
Okay, very interesting. Well, I look forward, congratulations on the app, and I look forward to another update.
Thank you very much.
Always nice to talk to you.
Okay, thank you. Have a good one.
Thanks. Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Pad Inventor Company. Hermesus is a new cryptocurrency exchange. And with me is the CEO, Milton Frazier, and also Managing Director, Colin Breeze, to explain what is behind Hermesus. First of all, I'm intrigued, Milton, by the name. So as soon as I read it, I was like, this has got to be a Greek god of some sort. So tell me about the name. Where did it come from? Why did you choose the name Hermesus?
Sure. So Hermes is the god of commerce and mercantilism. And Hermesus is just basically Hermes in the U.S. It is Hermes U.S., and that's the name of our company. And we are a platform for all of the cryptocurrency needs that are U.S. compliant and follow legal compliance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so there are a lot of crypto exchanges kind of popping up out there. I mean, why do we need another one? What makes Hermesus unique?
Sure. Colin?
Yeah, that's kind of like asking General Motors whether they should build cars, given that Ford exists. But in our view, the United States is built on competition, and we believe competition is good. Moreover, different exchanges offer their different services to customers in different types. But Hermesus is built with active U.S. traders in mind, both institutions and individuals, and we offer competitive solutions with high speed, low cost, and built-in custody solution.
Mm-hmm. Besides, if Coinbase and Kraken were doing things properly, if they could service their users and the users didn't have to wait, for 5 or 7 days to get a response, and if their platforms weren't slow and they were efficient and effective and low cost, then we wouldn't exist.
Interesting.
There'd be no need for us.
So, Colin, explain how you provide customer service that clients cannot find on the other big exchanges.
So our vision is to serve clients who are new to crypto, as well as experienced individual and institutional traders. These are people who maybe can't navigate a complex user interface or having difficulty getting customer support from the major exchanges. And they're folks who want to receive a high quality service at the right price.
Well, and that is kind of a problem is customer service, because I feel like there's so many people out there that don't understand the crypto world yet, and they kind of want to learn, but they're a little scared. And if they could have somebody that would help them through the whole process, I think it might be quicker to mainstream adoption. So, okay. So, Milton, also weigh in a little bit on the timing of this. Is it a good time? We've seen crypto be very interesting over the past year. I mean, how do you see the timing of all this?
I think the timing is perfect, actually. I think the regulatory market is in for some changes. I think the Commerce Department and the SEC are really taking a good look at cryptocurrency, as we should be. This market needs to be transparent. So it's really perfect time for us to really step in, and despite the 300 plus exchanges outside the US, it's a great time for us to step in and really show people what a low cost, great exchange and platform looks like. And again, if we had, operators like Coinbase and Kraken that were smooth and flawless and transparent, then again, there would be no need for our existence. But because we've seen the problems in the marketplace, that's why we came to be.
Okay. So I want you both to weigh in on this. Colin, we'll start with you. I mean, short-term goals, long-term goals for Hermesus.
Sure, let me grab that. So besides taking market share and revenue from dominant players like our rivals Coinbase and Kraken, we expect to continue to iterate our technology, onboard new traders, provide our users with an unparalleled service offering, including compensating our market makers for their trading activity. We're excited about those offerings, and we think they differentiate us in the market. So we have no issue taking on the giants. We have no issue taking on the competition. Yes, our competitors have done public offerings and are planning to do public offerings. We think our timing is good, and in the short to medium term, we expect to be right there along with them.
Okay. Anything to add to that, Milton?
No, I totally agree.
Okay. So Bitcoin has hit record highs. I mean, for a while it was doing that every day. Ethereum as well. Of course, NFTs have gotten a ton of attention this year. What's your opinion of NFTs and then the whole crypto space?
Well, our platform is designed to really apply the technologies as we see fit and as users want to use them. We really believe there's a democratization of commodities and of securities that's going on. If you take a look at what happened with GameStop and Robinhood, we believe this is the perfect time. And if people want to invest in NFTs, even though somebody might think they're a fad, we think there might be some value, and we want to provide that for our users and traders that want to see value.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. We're building an NFT marketplace, which will be part of the Hermesus platform, which we're launching. That aspect we're launching this summer. We see this as a major advantage for us, as we can use our NFT marketplace to generate additional value-added services for our valued customers, while our competitors are slower to adapt and adopt new directions owing to their size and legacy investments.
Mm-hmm. No, it certainly feels like the financial world is changing in really tectonic ways. So, and I think blockchain and crypto has a lot to do with that. So, Milton, let's wrap it up with you. Who are your clients? And if somebody is interested in finding out more about Hermesus, where can they go?
Sure. So again, let me wrap it up with Hermesus, Hermes US. Just Google that name and you'll find us. And our clients are small to medium people, individuals, and large-sized traders that really want to have a toolbox and a platform that services their needs at a low-cost and efficient manner.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. Best of luck, and let's do an update in a few months as you ramp up and start to hit your short-term goals.
Sure.
Thank you.
Me too. We look forward to it. Thank you.
Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Pad Inventor Company. Today, we're talking with Ali Reza, who is one of the world's top finance experts and also is preparing an STO project, security token offering. And with us also, Doug Messer, the host of Minted with Messer. So great to have you both with us. And I guess let's start with Ali. Tell me about your project, the STO project. Kind of give me the lowdown, and then a little bit about your background too, and then we'll talk to Doug.
Absolutely. Hello, good day to you, and it's an absolute pleasure and honor to be here. And basically, my background is we used to issue lots of bond for our clients, secured bond by their assets in Switzerland. In Zurich with my partners, we were doing that and for a long time, and it was fantastic. And we did that till year 2008, where the collapse happened and the Madoff and all that. So we had to sit back and basically rethink our organization what we need to do. So then we got involved with the insurance-backed securities. So we came in and we started backing up a variety of securities with basically insurance product. And now more and more it's getting more difficult because of the regulation and everything. And what we decided to do is maybe change gear. You know, trend is your friend. So we decided to get involved more with cryptocurrency. And currently we have a project that is in Lancaster, Nevada. Is called Castle Mine Gold, and we have all the documentation, all the paperwork is ready to go, and I mean it's all done, and we're going to break ground hopefully by May 15th latest. And the evaluation based on 43-101, that's like a Bible of evaluation for mining, is about 300 billion. And so it's pretty phenomenal. And we decided, and we have issued even a security against that, and it's at serious banks such as Societe Generale in Zurich, it's sitting at Liechtenstein Landesbank. But we realized, why don't we offer this to people? Make it the checks and balances, have every token issue a security token against it, and back it up with the gold. And actually deposit those golds at people's at the account at the major banks on behalf of the token holders. So that's what we did.
So that brings us to Doug then. So because Doug,
that's right.
So the STO, the security token offering, explain what that is and why this project is good for that.
Absolutely. Well, you know, to take one step back, I think in general with cryptocurrencies, there's a natural hesitance for an investment that has no true asset value from a backing perspective. So I think for a general public who is used to the traditional security model, the way in which Ali has set up the STO is basically the same as one would set up for an IPO, nearly identical. One is simply listed on the NASDAQ or the blockchain and multiple exchanges. So the similarities are quite there. And, you know, with the, as Ali mentioned, the backing of a reserve as large as that, it gives us the ability to really open up a formerly used method of finance within the United States, which was eventually removed as the gold standard. And hopefully, during a really bad time in our history, unfortunately, introduced that same actually asset-backed currency in a new form and available for all.
Yeah. You know, what's interesting to me about this is people have kind of pitted Bitcoin and gold against each other, but you're actually having them work together a little bit, Ali, right? I mean, it's a little bit.
That's right. That's right. Well, because I think the exciting thing about it is basically people, there's amazing products out there based on cryptocurrency. People, they're just coming with genius ideas, which is fantastic for everyone. But we thought it should be something tangible. So if somebody genuinely wants to sell it, even to be honest with you, if in the big blocks, we're thinking to surrender the gold to clients that they buy it. So if they want to basically do exchange, like if somebody's purchasing $1 million and up, they can actually come in and take their gold if they wish, or still remain. So it's literally genuine assets sitting behind every single cryptocurrency they're purchasing. And that's why we wanted to be regulated. That's why we wanted to have our checks and balances in place.
And I love the idea of not reinventing the wheel, just bringing it back to life. The opportunity for, again, you know, millions of jobs lost, millions unfortunately passing from the pandemic, and a reignition of what could be a emerging new economy. It makes sense at a time of now to reintroduce the same model that we started with.
Yeah,
absolutely. USA is a great country, and to be honest with you, there's amazing natural resources. And so we have another copper mine that we're looking at to basically get involved with that and issuing tokens against that, securitize it. So there is variety of things, and so it's and I think there's a huge market for that. People being able to buy something that they know is 100% backed by the real assets that they can touch and they can liquidate if they wish.
Okay, well, I'm sure we'll have you back for an update at some point.
Sure, absolutely.
So that's great. Thank you.
Absolutely delighted.
Thanks, Doug. I think we're doing this regularly, or you're having a regular segment or something, right? So
yeah, every morning on and every evening on Monday nights.
We'll figure it out. So yes, great. So look forward to speaking to you all again soon.
Thank you so much. All the best.
Okay.
Have a great one.
Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Pad Inventor Company. Healixa CEO Ian Parker is back with us to talk about progress that the company has made. So Ian, great to have you back. And I guess just tell us, I mean, things seem to be picking up pace with some of your business initiatives lately.
Yes, thank you for having us back. Absolutely. The most exciting updates we have right now is that this incredible care ecosystem that we built is now going from pilot to rollout. So we currently are finalizing testing in Dallas right now with a globally recognized tech-enabled last mile application. And once we finalize this next round of testing, perhaps in the next week or two, we'll be ready to start the rollout of the digital pharmacy application to select metropolitan areas and expand into the entire nation over time. Keep in mind, I think one of the important points here is that this is one of the cornerstones of the entire care ecosystem. And once you combine that with the virtual care platform that allows doctors to connect to the patients virtually, and you now take the remote patient monitoring piece, which allows us to take the vital signs directly from the camera on your phone, you now have an entire chain of care in one complete technology stack.
Wow. And I've talked to you for a year or so, and I mean, I know what it's taken to get to this point. So I'm excited for you. Yeah. So it's great. So, okay. So once the rollout begins, then what next? Like what are the next steps for the company?
Yeah. So I think one of the things I would point to here is, as you probably remember, last year we signed an understanding with a healthcare benefits company that has access to about 3.5 million lives. As we move from pilot to rollout, we now start the process of beginning to convert those lives from a fragmented care environment to a seamless, complete chain of care platform. Just to sort of put that in perspective as to what that means to a health tech company like ourselves, if you look at Live On Go, for example, pre-Teladoc merger, the value of their value on the public markets was about $10 billion. They had approximately 320,000 lives in their platform. So that should help give people some perspective as to what those lives mean in the system. As we set up, to convert those lives, what's going to happen is you're going to see us quickly surpass a lot of our smaller competitors, and we're going to put ourselves on a trajectory to start to catch some of our larger competitors. And that is, part of how we've sort of gone methodically through building shareholder value here.
Now, I also saw there's a press release about a newly formed medical advisory committee that is also helping to grow the business. So tell me about that.
Yes. So we've been referring to this as our Justice League of healthcare professionals. I am a comic fan, as you can see. Understand that these professionals have been around the company for some time, so we're formalizing this right now. They've been sort of operating in stealth mode up until this point. These are globally recognized healthcare experts. In order to build a platform this sophisticated and this robust, we needed to listen to the best in the healthcare community and make sure that we married them up to the top engineers. So if you look at the way the platform has been built, it's been built by top engineers, and at the same time, it's been designed and informed by healthcare superstars. We're going to start introducing these healthcare professionals to the market one by one, because quite frankly, each one of them deserves their own spotlight. They are an incredible group of people, and we really look forward to introducing them. I think that's also going to help the market understand how this was created and how we're going to execute on this incredibly robust platform.
So Leslie, you mentioned the engineers. Let's talk about the tech platform. So I kind of explained from the user point of view, how will all of that work?
So you have virtual care, which is the way the doctors connect to the patients virtually. What we've done is we've combined that with remote patient monitoring. So now it's a touchless system where the user can get on the phone, they can look at the camera, and now those vital signs are being instantly transmitted back to the healthcare professional, to the clinician on the other side. That clinician can now prescribe therapies to them, and because of the fact that we have the remote patient monitoring piece, because of that, we can now expand the amount of therapies that we can prescribe virtually. So that allows us to rapidly get those therapies from the digital pharmacy to the patient. So if you look at the way that would operate, patient sees the doctor then takes the vital signs, diagnoses the issue, and then prescribes the medication. We bring it directly to your door. You now have your therapies when you need them, where you need them. Okay. Anything you'd like to add? I think the only thing I would like to add is that as we introduce these professionals that we're bringing onto the committee, I just want to say thank you to them for all the help that they provided, all the insight they provided, all the guidance they provided over time to help us build this really robust platform. Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, Ian, let's have some of them on for an interview. Once you're ready to make that public, I think that'd be great to hear from them. Absolutely. I think having a panel on would be fantastic, and they would be certainly open to it. Good idea. Let's do it. So, all right. Thank you so much, Ian, for the update. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Petproducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Tonix Pharmaceuticals has entered into an exclusive worldwide licensing agreement for its antiviral COVID inhibitor. So with me is the CEO of Tonix, Seth Letterman. Great to have you, Seth, to explain this new agreement. Give me the overview, and then we'll talk a little bit more in detail about it.
Well, thank you, Jane, and thanks for having me on. We're very excited. The COVID pandemic still rumbles on, and despite the vaccine deployments and the rest of it, many people are going to continue to contract COVID. And right now, the drugs that we have aren't enough. So we're delighted to have reached an agreement with Oyagen, a private company in Rochester, New York, run by a professor from University of Rochester named Harold Smith, who's a worldwide leading expert on coronaviruses and RNA viruses in general. And they've developed what we are now calling TNX 3500. And they've brought it to a point where it's a perfect deal for both sides. because we will be able to bring it into clinical trials and get it tested. And they've done all of the basic science up to this point.
Okay, so describe, like, where in the coronavirus process would this come? Would this be a treatment for somebody who's infected, preventative, early in the sickness? I mean, how does it work?
Thank you. Yes, this is for someone who is at the early stage of showing symptoms. And it is similar mechanistically to Gilead's drug remdesivir, but it's different enough that Oyagen has already shown that remdesivir and TNX 3500 are additive, meaning that their mechanisms don't quite overlap. That if you put the two of them together in tissue culture, you can use lower doses of each of them and get higher killing of the virus. So in a lot of antiviral therapies, combination therapy is critical. For example, in HIV, I'm sure you've heard of drugs like Atripla and other ones, where you need to be hitting a virus at more than one point, first of all, to get more activity, but also potentially to decrease the ability of the virus to mutate away from the antiviral therapy you're giving.
Okay. And then, so when might patients be able to use this? Or I know I ask you this and it's always a little tricky, but do you have any kind of timeline at all?
Well, I mean, our near-term goal is to get it into trials. So we are rapidly going to put it into our system and make the drug product and get the application together to FDA called an IND so that we can begin human testing. Depending on where in the cycle, our initial human results will come, I think will depend on how quickly it can get out. For example, if COVID is as bad as it is today, then clearly we would consider the pathway of an emergency use authorization. If the vaccines and herd immunity bring COVID down a notch, then maybe it would go through more of a regular pathway.
Okay. And then this is just one thing you've been working on. I mean, you have a lot of other things in the pipeline too, with immunology, central nervous system therapies. Kind of explain where all of that is at this point.
Yeah, we have a lot going on. One of the very distinctive things about Tonix is that we are agnostic in terms of the type of technology underlying a therapeutic. So our products go all the way from a live virus vaccine for COVID to a protein made in CHO cells, to a protein made in E. coli, to small peptide therapeutics, to small molecules. So we cover the gamut of things. But what a year we're having. We expect to have 4 drugs in clinical trials by the end of the year in 3 in phase 2 studies, 1 in phase 1. But that's in addition, I'm not even counting our treatment for fibromyalgia, which is our lead program. That is mid-phase 3. And we expect to report the interim analysis of the fibromyalgia study for TNX-102SL in Q3. And we expect to report the top-line data in the 4th quarter. Now, if that data are positive, and we think that's a good chance because this study is really a duplicate, a confirmatory study of the positive phase 3 that we reported in last year, at the end of last year, then we would be in a position to file the new drug application. So we have a number of programs that are in late clinical stage development, but they are led by 102SL for fibromyalgia.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Seth, for joining us with the update. Best of luck and congratulations on your success.
Thank you very much, Jane. Thanks for having me on.
there's a real war against Christians in America. Now, David Horowitz's runaway bestseller Dark Agenda reveals the secret efforts in Congress, the media, even in our schools and military to destroy Christianity. New leaders want to limit your freedoms, but Dark Agenda exposes the danger for America. Tucker Carlson calls it a disturbing book, and Mike Huckabee says you must read it. David Horowitz's Dark Agenda at bookstores everywhere, or see the free offer. Just go online or call today.
Oh, hey, doesn't it feel like there's communists everywhere? In fact, the Chinese Communist Party has been subverting America from every angle. So whether it's compromising our politicians, controlling Hollywood, manipulating Wall Street, or infiltrating our schools, they have stopped at nothing to take down America. And I believe that in order for us to not become like China, we need citizens who know the truth. So go on over to getepic.com, stay informed with a subscription to the Epic Times, and you will get instant access to this infographic.
Closed captioning brought to you by Pray.com, the #1 app for daily prayer and bedtime Bible stories.
Bring light to your day. Strengthen your spirit. Download Pray.com right now, the #1 app for daily prayer.
They are the most elite fighting force on earth. They're trained